Good day and welcome to WesternPacificWeather.com. It is currently the 26th of November 2010. In a few areas out there today we are watching, but overall pretty much fair weather dominating much of Japan, Korea, into Taiwan, and much of China here. There is an invest down here in the South China Sea though, 94 whiskey here actually moving off towards the west, but really not expecting too much development out of this system here. As you can see, kind of off to the northern periphery, we got some outflow bands really out of this, and this is just basically due to the collapsing of this system. It's basically as the air pushes down under it, you basically have this outflow form up around the convection, the main convection area, and this is telling me right off the bat that this is starting to dissipate. And if we actually look at some of the upper level winds analysis here, we can see some fairly strong winds along the northern periphery of this area right in here, actually about 20 up to 30 knots throughout this entire area. The reason why we do have a little bit of development and for this invest though is that actually as we move towards the south, only seeing about 10 to 15 knots of basically upper level winds right in here, actually relatively low vertical wind shear as well. But as this actually starts to track off to the northwest though, it's going to basically encounter some more hostile area for it. And this looks like the likely scenario, actually looking at streamline analysis here, as the overall background flow is just drifting off towards the west, towards Vietnam here. So looking at some increased precipitation over Vietnam due to this invest area, but otherwise though, not any expected development out of it. So basically some good news there. Looks like the winter is starting to fully set in here, and overall not really looking at too much development out here in the Western Pacific. If some was to develop though, actually we can see basically the overall easterly flow right through this entire area just south of the Philippines. Now this is where you would see any formation of tropicals this time of year. Farther up to the north though, very high amount of wind shear throughout this entire area. You're not going to get any tropical development basically north of Taiwan here. As you can see, this tight packing of the streamlines here is indicating where the polar front jet is currently lying. Speaking of the polar front jet, it's actually supporting this area of low pressure to the southeast of Honshu here, brought some precipitation throughout Japan yesterday. This is all moving off towards the northeast now, and actually high pressure is going to be ridging in behind it from the northwest over much of basically Russia here. And actually if we look at the surface analysis from Thailand's meteorology department, you can really see the strong ridge of high pressure moving in from the northwest towards the southeast here, really bringing much cooler temperatures throughout Japan and down to the Ryukyu Islands once again, basically due to the anticyclonic circulation here around this high pressure. Basically it's moving clockwise around it, and basically all this area is going to be winds coming from the north towards the south, bringing much cooler temperatures. And also another thing I want to note here is this, as this starts to overall begin to drift towards the southeast, basically due to this increase of the intensity of the Siberian high farther up to the north here, the northeast monsoon, basically due to the northeast winds, thus the name in the Pacific, is going to start to set in pretty strong here. What does that mean as the weather here in the Western Pacific? Well, basically drier and cooler temperatures throughout this entire region right in here. Fairly good news, but you still are going to occasionally have the migratory low that will move through the region, basically bringing some increase in precipitation. But overall though, the tropical weather farther north of Taiwan and the Ryukyu Islands here are definitely going to be absent through the next several months. And also noting on this map is this trough of low pressure extending from Indonesia over the Bay of Bengal and over towards Sri Lanka, still bringing precipitation throughout this entire region here. Actually radar out of Thailand showing some isolated showers along the Malaysian peninsula right in here, and over Singapore still seeing some isolated rain showers as well. So definitely going to be seeing precip throughout this entire area, and if there is any possible for tropical development as well, is definitely going to be off of this trough of low pressure. But starting to see a gradual weakening in this trough, basically as the overall sea surface temperatures in this region begin to slowly cool as the Earth starts to tilt towards a more southern periphery of where the max heating is going to be on the Earth. So definitely going to see these temperatures start to cool, and the overall convection in this region will slowly back off over the coming month. But that is all for today, everybody. Thank you once again for listening to WestPacificWeather.com. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions, as always, you can always email me or post in the comment box to the right. And also, please sure to just check around the site some more. I've added plenty of new features. Probably going to start ending the map that I was making there for a while. Actually, it's a little time consuming, and I want to try to get the site to automatically populate on its own without actually having to input some of these values in here manually, especially when I'm not available to do that. So if you have any further suggestions though to try to improve the site, please as always let me know. I'm always open, and if I really take all that input dearly. So thank you once again, and have a great day, everybody. Bye.